The Senate will come to order. Mr. Carpenter, will you please call the roll?
Senators Bridges, Cook, Coram, Court, Crowder, Danielson, Donovan, Finberg, Fields, Foote, Gardner, Janal, Gonzalez, Hill, Hill,
Absent.
Heisey, Holbert, Lee, Lundeen, Marble, Moreno, Pedersen, Priola, Rankin, Rodriguez, Scott,
Excused.
Smallwood, Sonnenberg, Story, Tate, Todd, Williams, Winter, Woodward, Zinzinger, President Garcia,
Excused. Oh,
Hill,
with 33 present, 0 absent, 2 excused, we have a quorum. Senator Story, please lead us in the pledge.
Thank you, Madam President. Colleagues and guests, will you please rise and join me in the pledge? I pledge allegiance.
Senator Rodriguez, approval of the minutes.
Thank you,
Excuse
Madam
me, of the
President.
journal.
I move the reading of the Journal of Thursday, April 4th, 2019 be dispensed with, and that the journal be approved as corrected by the Secretary.
Is there any objection? Seeing none, the motion is adopted. Committee reports.
April 3rd, 2019, Committee on Judiciary, for consideration of Mayor's Committee as following. Senate Bill 191 be amended as follows as submitted before the Committee on Finance with favorable recommendation. April 4th, 2019, the Committee on Finance has in consideration had hearing on following appointments, recommends appointments to be placed on consent calendar and confirmed. Members of the Security Boards for a term expiring July 1st, 2021. Thomas H. Kenning of Carbondale, Colorado, member of the public at large residing west of the Continental Divide, were appointed. Keith Michael Libya, J.D. of Boulder, Colorado, who is licensed by the State Supreme Court to practice law in the state of Colorado and who is conversant in the securities law, appointed. April 4th, 2019, Committee on Finance, after consideration of Mayor's Committee as following. Senate Bill 150 be referred favorably to the Committee on Appropriations. April 4th, 2019, Committee on Finance, after consideration of Mayor's Committee as following. House Bill 1217 be referred to Committee to hold a favorable recommendation. April 4th, 2019, the Committee on Health and Human Services had in consideration had a hearing on following appointments, recommends appointments, placed on consent calendar confirmed. Member of the State Board of Human Services for a term expiring March 1st, 2023, Constance Connie Emerald of Lakewood, Colorado, to serve as a public member, reappointed. Julie Ann Holligan Westendorf of Durango, Colorado, to serve as a county commissioner, reappointed. Honorable Thomas Crawford Davidson of Dillon, Colorado, to serve as a county commissioner, as well as family member, a person with a disability, reappointed. John Cafalas of Fort Collins, Colorado, to serve as a county commissioner, appointed. April 4th, 2019, Committee on Health and Human Services had consideration of hearing on following appointments, recommends appointments be placed on consent calendar confirmed. Members of the Colorado Healthcare Affordability and Sustainability Enterprise, Chase, for a term expiring May 15th, 2021. Catherine Jean Ashenfelter of Denver, Colorado, to serve as employee of a hospital in Colorado, reappointed. April 4th, 2019, Committee on Health and Human Services had consideration of Mayor's Committee as following. Senate Bill 219 be amended as follows as submitted referred to Committee on Appropriations with favorable recommendation. April 4th, 2019, Committee on Education has had consideration of hearing on following appointments, recommends appointments be placed on consent calendar confirmed. Members of the Charter School Institute Board for a term expiring July 1st, 2021. Antonio Patrick Perez of Denver, Colorado, to serve as a member with experience as a charter school board member or founder of a charter school, experience as a public school administrator with experience working with charter schools, other board or public service experience, and as a Democrat reappointed. April 4th, 2019, Committee on Education has had consideration had hearing on following appointments, recommends appointments to be placed in consent calendar confirmed. Members of the Board of Trustees of Metropolitan State University of Denver, term expiring December 31st, 2022. Barbara Barnes Grogan of Denver, Colorado, to serve as a Democrat reappointed. Marissa Molina of Denver, Colorado, to serve as a member who is not affiliated with a political party, appointed. Russell Gordon Knowles of Jersey City, New Jersey, serve as a Democrat appointed. April 4th, 2019, the Committee on Education has consideration had a hearing on the following appointments, recommends appointments placed in consent calendar confirmed. Members of the Board of Trustees for Western State Colorado University for term expiring December 31st, 2022. Eric Marshall of Fairchild of Gunnison, Colorado, Republican reappointed. James Charles Pribble, Louisville, Colorado, a Democrat appointed. April 4th, 2019, the Committee on Education has had consideration of hearing on following appointments, recommends appointments placed in consent calendar confirmed. Member of the Board of Trustees for the University of Northern Colorado for term expiring December 31st, 2020. Richard L. Montfort of Greater Colorado, Republican, reappointed for term expiring December 31st, 2022. Janice Carey Sinden of Evergreen, Colorado, Republican, reappointed. Stephen Moreland Jordan, PhD of Lafayette, Colorado, unaffiliated, appointed. April 4th, 2019, Committee on Education. After consideration of Mayor's Committee as following. Senate Bill 215 be amended as follows. As so amended before the Committee on Appropriations with favorable recommendation. April 4th, 2019, Committee on Education. After consideration of Mayor's Committee as following. Senate Bill 190 be amended as follows. As so amended before the Committee on Appropriations with favorable recommendation. April 4th, 2019, Committee on Education. After consideration of Mayor's Committee as following. House Bill 1178 be referred to committee to hold the favorable recommendation placed on the consent calendar. Before 2019 Committee on Transportation and Energy. After consideration of Mayor's Committee as following. Senate Bill 205 be referred favorably to Committee on Finance. April 4th, 2019 Committee on Agriculture and Natural Resources. After consideration of Mayor's Committee as following. Senate Bill 221 be amended as follows. As amended be referred to Committee on Appropriations with a favorable recommendation. April 4th, 2019 Committee on Agriculture and Natural Resources. After consideration of Mayor's Committee as following. Senate Bill 186 be referred favorably to Committee on Finance. April 4th, 2019 Committee on Agriculture and Natural Resources. After consideration of Mayor's Committee as following. House Bill 1080 be referred to Committee to hold the favorable recommendation. April 4, 2019, Committee on Agriculture and Natural Resources. After consideration of Mayor's Committee as following. Senate Bill 220 be amended as follows. As amended before the Committee on Appropriations with a favorable recommendation.
Very busy bees in committee. Senate Services.
Correctly printed, Senate Bill 235. Correctly engrossed, Senate Bill 185. Correctly re-engrossed, Senate Bill 85. Correctly revised, House Bill 1224.
Message from the House.
House has passed on third reading and changed by the revised statutes. House Bill 1222. The House has passed on third reading and changed by the revised statutes. House Bill 1231 amendments printed in House Journal. April 3rd, 2019. The House has passed on third reading and returns herewith. Senate Bill 78. The House has passed on third reading and return and transmitted the revised statutes. Senate Bill 91 amendments printed in House Journal. April 3rd, 2019.
Message from the Reviser.
We herewith transmit without comment House Bill 1222 without comment as amended. House Bill 1231 without comment as amended. Senate Bill 91.
Introduction of resolutions.
Submitting concurrent resolution 2 by Senator Lundin, Representative Geithner, submitting to the Register of Electors of the State of Colorado an amendment to the Colorado Constitution concerning modifications to the operations of the General Assembly and in connection therewith decreasing the maximum length of regular sessions of the General Assembly from 120 calendar days to 90 calendar days in even-numbered years and to 60 calendar days in odd-numbered years, limiting the number of bills and resolutions that a member of the General Assembly may introduce during a regular session of the General Assembly, establishing a biennial budget process and establishing the process for consideration of the General Appropriation Bill.
State Veterans Military Affairs.
Submitting concurrent resolution 3 by Senator Priola and Representative Gregg, submitting to the Register of Electors of the State of Colorado an amendment to the Colorado Constitution concerning requirement that the General Assembly enact a law to replace the existing state excise tax on gasoline and other locomotive fuel with an additional state sales and use tax to be used exclusively to fund the construction, maintenance, and supervision of the surface transportation system.
Transportation and Energy. Introduction of bills.
House Bill 1222 by Representatives Kipp and McCluskey and Senator Story concerning a grant program to reduce the amount of the internal baccalaureate exam fee paid by students.
Education.
House Bill 1231 by Representative Froelich and Kipp and Senator Lee concerning efficiency standards for equipment sold in Colorado in connection therewith, requiring certain appliances, plumbing fixtures, and other products sold for residential or commercial use to meet energy efficiency and water efficiency standards.
Transportation and Energy.
House Bill 1244 by Representatives Coleman and Carver and Senators Fields and Gardner concerning the Peace Officers Mental Health Support Grant Program in connection therewith, allowing certain agencies to apply for grants from the program and expanding the permissible uses of money awarded as grants under the program.
Judiciary. Majority Leader Fenberg.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that the Senate proceed out of order to consideration of resolutions.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The motion is adopted. The Senate will proceed out of order for consideration of resolutions. Consideration of resolutions. Mr. Carpenter, please read the title to SJR 008.
Senate Joint Resolution 8 by Senator Lundin and Representative Carver concerning the recognition of the 35th Space Symposium and celebrating the premier international space policy and program forum.
Senator Lundin.
Thank you very much, Madam President. I move SJR 19008 and ask that it be read at length.
Mr. Carpenter, please read SJR 008 at length.
Senate Joint Resolution 8 by Senator Lundin and Representative Carver concerning the recognition of the 35th Space Symposium and celebrating the premier international space policy and program forum. Whereas, the Space Foundation is a global nonprofit leader in space awareness activities, educational programs, and major industry events. And whereas, the Space Foundation was founded in 1983 with a mission to advance space-related endeavors to inspire, enable, and propel humanity, and has its world headquarters in Colorado Springs, Colorado. And whereas, Colorado is home to the United States Air Force Space Command, more than 300 aerospace companies and suppliers that develop products and systems for commercial, military, and civil space activities. And whereas, the Space Foundation Space Symposium, held at the Broadmoor in Colorado Springs, Colorado, annually brings together civil, commercial, and national security space leaders from around the world to discuss, address, and plan for the future of space. And whereas the inaugural Space Symposium in 1984 was attended by approximately 250 space enthusiasts, and participant numbers in recent years have surpassed 11,000. And whereas the annual Space Symposium results in approximately $30 million in economic impact to the local economy. And whereas the Space Symposium has become widely known as the premier space policy and program forum in the world. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Senate of the 72nd General Assembly of the State of Colorado, the House of Representatives concurring herein, that we, the members of the Colorado General Assembly, recognize that April 8, 2019, marks the opening of the 35th Space Symposium and its position as the premier international space policy and program forum, that we recognize the important contributions of the space industry to the economy of our state and the welfare of our citizens, and that we welcome the attendees from all sectors of the space community and from all parts of the world to our beautiful state. Be it further resolved that copies of this joint resolution be sent to Governor Jared Polis, General William L. Shelton, USAF, retired, Chairman of the Board for the Space Foundation, Lieutenant Colonel Shelley Brunswick, United States Air Force, retired, Chief Operating Officer and Acting Chief Executive Officer for the Space Foundation, each member of El Paso's county delegation, and members of Colorado's congressional delegation.
Senator Lundin.
Thank you very much, Madam President. Members, space, the final frontier. Cue the music that runs in your head when you hear that phrase. Few have slipped the surly bonds of gravity and pressed that frontier. We call them astronauts, and one is here with us today. The Space Foundation, which we acknowledge today, is the world's premier organization to inspire, educate, connect, and advocate on behalf of the global space community. The Space Foundation is a pioneer in space awareness, activities, educational programs, major industrial events, including the annual Space Symposium. Headquartered in Colorado Springs, rapturous applause.
That wasn't all that rapturous, actually.
That was timid applause, but we'll take it. Headquartered in Colorado Springs, the Foundation's Public Discovery Center includes the El Pomar Space Gallery, the Lockheed Martin Space Education Center, and the Northrop Grumman Science Center, which features a room-sized global display system called Science on a Sphere. The space sector is an integral part of Colorado's economy. Our great state houses more than 500 space-related companies and suppliers employing more than 190,000 individuals from Boulder to El Paso County and across the state. All that adds up to about $15 billion a year in economic activity. In recent years, 9,000 speakers, exhibitors, volunteers, educators, students, and enthusiasts have gathered every year at the Broadmoor Hotel to inform and interact with each other across all platforms of information about space. Next week, that will happen again, and I would encourage any of you that have time this weekend to get down to the Space Symposium, make an effort to do so. Prominent speakers at the event have included the Vice President of the United States, Mike Pence, a list of luminaries that I will not bore you with their names now, but you can certainly find it elsewhere, and astronauts and space travelers. The Space Foundation looks to the future in an important way by the way it speaks into students' lives. They run a number of programs that include things such as classes for students of all ages, including the Spheres course, which I mentioned earlier, the Science on a Sphere program, the AGI Space Mission Simulator courses, the Mars Yard Robotics courses, and STARS, that's stars in quotes, in-class and after-school programs. But let's pause for a moment, if we could, to acknowledge the individuals who are here representing the Space Foundation in the symposium today. Chief Operating Officer Shelley Brunswick. She has primary responsibility for the Space Foundation Headquarters Center of Innovation and Education, the Space Foundation Discovery Center, operational management of the Space Symposium, the FAGA Forum on Space Intelligence, She's also oversees the government affairs efforts and activities in Washington, D.C., including relationships with government agencies and other space advocacy organizations. She joined the Space Foundation after serving the United States Air Force for over 29 years, and she's joined by her husband, Jerry Henderson, a retired firefighter. Tom Bugnitz, who's the CEO of Manufacturers Edge at the United States Department of Commerce Manufacturing Extension Partnership Center for the state of Colorado. Tom is a space commerce entrepreneurship partner for the Space Foundation. Tom advised corporate and government clients across the globe for over 25 years in business strategy development, cross-organizational team building and management processes, and organizational redesign. Tom has co-authored a widely adopted book on business strategy and capital planning for technology, now in its 3rd edition of printing. Get a copy. This is something we in Colorado should be leaning into. And potentially a most honored guest is Dr. Ron Sega. He joined Colorado State from the U.S. government, where he served as Undersecretary of the Air Force. A former astronaut, Sega flew 2 missions into space on the Space Shuttle Discovery in 1994 and as payload commander for the 3rd Shuttle Mir docking mission aboard Atlantis in 1996. Dr. Sega serves as a director of the systems engineering programs. He's also a co-chair of the Colorado Space Coalition and a life director of the Space Foundation. I think Senator Gardner has some comments. Following that, I would like you to welcome our guests and give serious consideration to participating as you can in the Space Symposium this weekend in Colorado Springs.
Senator Gardner.
Thank you, Madam President. Members, please be seated. I thank my friend and colleague, the senator from Monument, for being the prime sponsor of this resolution, and for my colleagues from El Paso County being co-sponsors. This is this year the 35th Space Symposium at the Broadmoor. I remember the first Space Symposium at the Broadmoor. You can do the math on that, but the important thing about it is I would not have imagined the U.S. Space Foundation as a new organization in those years becoming what the vision of its founders was, which was the premier international organization for space development, space education, and the promotion of exploration of space. My friend and colleague has encouraged you to take a trip this week. I will say to my colleague, the chair of Senate Judiciary, we need to be done in time for me to go to the opening ceremony about 6 o'clock down in Colorado Springs, Mr. Chair, because I always try to make the visit every year. It is fantastic. You will see things that you don't even see in the movies. So welcome to our guest. I am proud to be the senator representing the location of the U.S. Space Symposium, and proud that it is in its 35th year. Members, do welcome our guest and realize that for Colorado, both as a vision and as our economy, space is a huge, huge deal, and it is exciting. It is ever exciting every day that you think about it. Thank you, members.
Mr. Chair. Is there further discussion? Seeing none, the motion is the passage of SJR 008. Are there any no votes? With 33 ayes, co-sponsors. No. Right.
Madam Chair?
Madam Chair?
Oh, well, then I really did do it.
Madam Chair?
Your Grace? Madam President,
Thank you.
I move that the morning roll call be added as co-sponsors.
Is there any objection? Seeing none, the current roll call will be added as co-sponsors. Oh, okay, now the motion is to pass SJR 008. And we decided there's no vote. So with 33 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, and 2 excused, SJR 008 is adopted. Senator Gardner.
Madam President, I renew my motion. That the morning roll call be added as
Correct. Yes, thank you. Is there any objection to the morning roll call being added as co-sponsors? Seeing none, the current roll call will be added as co-sponsors. We will take a brief recess to welcome our guests.
I love space. I just saw Apollo 11. Have you seen that yet?
Yeah.
Great. The documentary? The new
Yeah,
one?
yeah.
It's all original
I was,
footage. It's cool.
I was there the first time.
Really?
Literally, but I lived that. It was a big deal. I was in school there. I mean, it was a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
That whole thing happened.
Okay, the Senate will come back to order for third readings. Third reading of bills consent calendar. Mr. Carpenter, please read the titles to all the bills on the consent calendar.
House Bill 1224 by Representative Baird and Senator
Come on.
Winter.
We're on third readings now, people. We're on third readings. Please pay attention. Thank you. Mr. Carpenter.
House Bill 1224 by Representative Baird and Senator Winter concerning providing free menstrual hygiene products to people in custody. Senate Bill 185 by Senators Fields and Lundin, Representatives Landgraf and Roberts, concerning protections for minor human trafficking victims in connection therewith, requiring a post-enactment review of the implementation of this act.
Majority Leader Fenberg.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the passage of all the bills on the third reading of bills consent calendar, which includes House Bill 1224 and Senate Bill 185.
Is there any discussion on any of the bills? Seeing none, the motion of the passage of all the bills on the third reading consent calendar. Are there any no votes to any of the bills on the third reading consent calendar? With 33 ayes, 0 no, 0 absent, 2 excused, the third reading consent calendar, House Bill 1224 is passed. Co-sponsors. Senator Crowder, Senator Williams, Senator Story, Senator Todd, Senator Zenzinger, Senator Moreno, Senator Lee, Senator Danielson, Senator Janal, Senator Gonzalez, Senator Pedersen, Senator Bridges, Senator Rodriguez, Majority Leader Fenberg. Senator Tate. Please add the president. With a vote of 33 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, 2 excused, Senate Bill 185 is passed. Co-sponsors. Senator Crowder, Senator Heisey, Senator Woodward, Senator Gardner, Senator Foote, Senator Smallwood, Senator Williams, Senator Winter, Senator Story, Senator Todd, Senator Zenzinger, Senator Moreno, Senator Pedersen, Senator Janal, Senator Bridges, Senator Danielson, Senator Lee, Senator Tate. Please add the president. General Orders, second reading of bills, consent calendar. Senator Gonzalez.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the Senate resolve itself into the Committee of the Whole for consideration of General Orders, second reading of bills, consent calendar.
You have heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. All those no. The motion is adopted, and the Senate will resolve itself in the Committee of the Whole for consideration of General Orders, second reading of bills, consent calendar. Senator Gonzalez will take the chair.
The committee will come to order and the court rule is relaxed. Will the clerk please read the title of all of the bills on the General Order second reading of bills consent calendar?
Senate Bill 200 by Senator Gonzalez and Representative Valdez A. concerning exception of the prohibition on removing an alcohol beverage from a premises licensed to serve alcohol beverages at the National Western Center. House Bill 1087 by Representative Soper and Hanson and Senators Woodward and Bridges concerning online notice of public meetings of a local governmental entity. House Bill 1207 by Representative Roberts and Senators Donovan and Rankin concerning requirement that motor vehicle meets traction control standards for winter conditions.
Majority Leader Fenberg.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move for the adoption of all the bills on the consent calendar and their associated committee reports, which includes Senate Bill 200, House Bill 1087, and House Bill 1207, along with the Transportation and Energy Committee report.
Great. Is there any discussion on any of the committee reports on the consent calendar? The motion before the body is the adoption of all of the committee reports on the General Order second reading of bills consent calendar. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it and the committee reports are adopted. Is there any discussion on any of the bills on the consent calendar? Seeing none, the motion before the body is the adoption of all of the bills on the General Order's second reading of bills consent calendar. All those in favor say aye. And opposed, no. The ayes have it and the bills are adopted. Majority Leader Fenberg.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move the committee rise and report.
The motion is for the committee to rise and report. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes clearly have it, and the motion is adopted. The committee will rise and report.
Wake up. Wake up. I'm done with that one. All right.
Can't hear you.
The Senate will come to order. Senator Gonzalez.
Thank you, Madam President. The committee has had a number of bills under consideration. Will the clerk please read the report?
Madam President, your committee will basically reports that in consideration of following tax bills being second reading thereof makes following recommendation on Senate Bill 200 pass second read order, goes place account for the reading and final passage. House Bill 1087, House Bill 1207 as amended pass second read order, revised place account for the reading and final passage.
Senator Gonzalez.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the report.
The motion is the adoption of the committee of the whole report. Are there any no votes? With 33 aye, 0 no, 0 absent, 2 excused, the committee of the whole report is adopted. Passed on second reading and ordered engrossed and placed on the calendar for third reading, final passage, Senate Bill 200. House Bill 1087 and House Bill 1207 as amended, passed on second reading and ordered revised and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. We'll now go to second reading of bills. Senator Gonzalez.
Thank you, Madam President.
General
I
orders.
move the Senate resolve itself into the committee of the whole for consideration of general orders, second reading of bills.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The motion is adopted. The Senate will resolve itself in the committee of the whole for the consideration of general orders, second reading of bills, and Senator Gonzalez will take the chair.
The committee will come to order and the court rule is relaxed. Will the clerk please read the title to House Bill 1213?
House Bill 1213 by Representative Tone and Senator Priola concerning the compensation payable to a member of a board of directors of an urban drainage and flood control district.
Senator Priola.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move House Bill 1213. There is no committee report.
To the bill, Senator Priola.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members, this bill simply adjusts numbers in compensation that have not changed in 25 years. There is no appropriation. I ask for an aye vote.
Is there any discussion? Senator Zenzinger.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I rise in strong support of this bill. I just want to point out, when you look at the revised fiscal note, there is no fiscal note because we are able to take care of this in existing resources. The district itself will take care of it with their existing resources. So this costs the state no money. I also want to talk a little bit about equity. So we made a couple of changes in our statutes with regard to compensation for special districts, but because the Urban Drainage and Flood Control District Board is not under that set of special district statutes, it was not included in those changes. So in order to create equity among our special districts, to do something that this body has already agreed that we wanted to do, I think it's really important that we allow them, the Urban Drainage and Flood Control District Board, an opportunity to do just this. Part of the reason why I have such an interest in this board is I actually served on this board. I was a delegate from the city of Arvada. The way that this board is constructed is it's made up of the mayors or mayors pro tem of the district membership. And when I served as the mayor pro tem for the city of Arvada, this was one of my assignments. So I had an opportunity to actually get to know the work of the Urban Drainage and Flood Control District Board. But I have a second connection to this board because one of the founders of this board is also one of the founders of the Joint Budget Committee. Joe Schumacher is one of the district's founders. And I just want to go back to, for a moment, the origin of this district. So the origin of the Urban Drainage and Flood Control District can be traced to the devastating flood of the South Platte River in June of 1965. And this flood very graphically demonstrated the disrespect of nature for the developments that were in the floodplain, as well as nature's disregard for jurisdictional boundaries. When it flooded, it destroyed many communities along the river, not just Denver. The flood also showed that there was a need for a multi-jurisdictional approach to addressing our drainage and flood control problems. So in the aftermath of this flood in 1965, there was a 5-county engineers council that was starting to address the fact that we had some real serious issues with flooding and drainage in our metropolitan areas. We had more concrete. So we had more concrete, so the water was flowing in certain directions, and we needed to make sure that our urban structures were designed in such a way to be able to mitigate our flood control problems. So in the aftermath of this flooding event, this 5-county engineers council started to look at what they needed to do to address our drainage and flood control needs. And this council consisted of engineers from Arapahoe County, Boulder County, Denver, Jefferson County, and Adams County. And it was an unofficial, ad hoc, voluntary group of concerned engineers that met on a periodic basis to try and coordinate the metropolitan engineering problems that we had. In addition, and this is going to really take you back a little bit when you hear who else was a part of this sort of ad hoc committee, but the Public Service Company, Mountain Bell, Denver Water Board, the City of Littleton, the City of Englewood, the Portland Cement Association, and the Wheat Ridge Water and Sanitation District were all involved in this council. So, enter on the scene Joe Schumacher, or Joe Shoemaker. At the time, in 1967, he became involved with the Engineers Council, and he joined their discussion regarding drainage and flood control problems in the area. And his interest was kindled, and the group became more serious about providing a mechanism for addressing our serious drainage problems. And from a regional standpoint, he was a practicing attorney, he was a state senator, one of the founders of the JBC, and had actually a degree in engineering. So what he did is he combined his experiences with the fact that he was a state senator, and he gave this ad hoc group an avenue to express their desires, and they actually formed legislation. And that was the beginning of the Urban Drainage and Flood Control District Board. And what they did is they became associated with Dr. Cog, another board that I sat on, the Denver Regional Council of Governments. And they became known initially as the Metropolitan Urban Drainage Advisory Committee. This committee included a bunch of people that are very famous from our body, and I won't go into who they were, but the interest in urban drainage was further intensified when we had a whole series of storms that happened that led to flooding, and then what they ended up doing is providing the urban storm drainage criteria manual. Now, why does it matter that they provided this manual? Well, this manual was the first of its kind in the country. In the whole country. That's right, Mr. Minority Leader, in the country. This manual became the leading top authority on how local governments can work together across jurisdictional boundaries to actually address flooding and urban drainage. So I just want to say that this bill is very important for a couple of different reasons. It provides equity and parity for a very extremely important special district that just doesn't happen to be already covered because they live in a different area of our statutes. We decided that it was okay for other special districts to raise their compensation. I think it's only fair that we allow the Urban Drainage and Flood Control District Board the same. And it costs us nothing. There is no fiscal note, and they're able to do it within their existing resources. And for that, I ask for an aye vote.
Orale. Senator Coram.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I always know what the good senator from Jefferson County is thinking because she never quits talking.
Senator Crowder.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Nobody disputes the importance of this board, but there is an issue that I have to raise on this. There's 18 board members. Only 2 of these are not elected officials. You have 5 commissioners from one each from Jefferson, Boulder, Arapahoe, Adams, Douglas. You have city council members. Now, what we're doing here, these county commissioners right now make $120,485 to serve their prospective counties. The city councilman makes $91,915 per year serving the city. And what we have here is double dipping. This is corruption. To actually serve on a board, and this board does not meet on weekends or Sundays. This board usually meets every Thursday at noon. So what we're doing is we're saying, since we already give elected officials this amazing amount of money per year to represent the people, now we want to give them a raise to serve on a board which should be part of their duties as an elected official. So I went into this in committee with an open mind, and this come out in committee, and I could not believe what I was hearing. In my opinion, this is corruption, and I will be a solid no vote on this. And if we're going to clean this kind of stuff up, we need to start here. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Is there any further discussion? Senator Zenzinger.
Thank you, Madam Chair, because I am known for being extremely efficient with my words. And not only efficient, but intelligent. I'm going to point out a couple of facts. First of which is, when I served as a member of the Arvada City Council, which, by the way, is a part-time position, our compensation was $500, number one. Number two, the structure of this board, it is a special district. So it is its own entity, its own taxing authority, its own group. And the way that it is structured, and this was actually in the history of it, in order to, it was the key to the success of this program, is that what they did is in the makeup of it, and this was from the very beginning when this board was established back in 1967, is that it was composed mainly of elected officials who were appointed to the board, starting with the mayor of Denver. And so, yes, the mayor of Denver probably makes a salary that is far in excess of the city councilors of Thornton, or the city councilors of Federal Heights, or the city councilors who serve in North Glen, or Wheat Ridge, or Lakewood, or Littleton. All of these city councilors are part-time city councilors. They do not make their living by being on city council. Westminster, Wheat Ridge, they don't make their living off of being on city council. There is one entity that makes their living off of being in city council, and that's Denver. But this is a 5-county board that's made up of many jurisdictions, upward in very similar to DRCOG, 64 different entities. And I would say that we have already decided that it's perfectly acceptable for special districts to compensate their board directors. So why would we have one board out of the entire state of Colorado that is not able to do this? We've already decided as a body that it is up to those boards to allow them to be able to raise the stipend. And what are we talking about here? $70. And the people that participate in these boards have actual jobs in the community. They're not sitting at a desk in an office in their city county building, because I didn't have an office when I was on city council. I would meet my constituents at Starbucks, because we did not have offices. And I had to step away from my job, my real job during the day, to be a part of this board. And I had to be a part of this board because only the mayor or mayor pro tem from the cities were allowed to be a part of this board. So absolutely, it was part of our duty under city council, but I just have to say that it is worth it. in order to allow this district board to have the same level of compensation of every other special district board. And I really take exception to this comment that they're already getting paid high enough, so they should just go ahead and do it. It is its own special entity. It serves a good purpose. It costs us nothing to do this, and so I would ask for an aye vote. And I know that wasn't short, but it was intelligent and it was insightful, and I would ask for an aye vote.
Senator Crowder.
Thank you, Madam Chair. You know, I don't know about the other boards because this is the only one that come before my committee. But if 16 of the 18 are elected officials, and these are elected officials that do this full time, this is not a part-time job. This is not, being a county commissioner is full time. City council of Denver is full time. I don't know about the mayor of Arvada and whatnot, but the reality is these are paid positions and elected officials. And, you know, the thing about it, they should not be compensated to be on another board, which is part of their normal duty anyway. You know, yeah, you're right, it's only $75. It doesn't cost us anything. But does the principle of the issue itself not a factor? You know, this is corruption. And we have an opportunity to, I'm not saying take the money away from them. I'm saying I'm going to be a no vote on the bill. And that's allow $75 more paid. Because I don't believe that they should be double dipping. And that's a simple issue. And I think that we ought to take a look at all of these boards in the future. If somebody is double dipping and they are elected for one position and being paid for other positions while they're supposed to be doing their commissioner or city council work, that should be illegal. That is corruption, in my opinion. Thank you.
Senator Winter.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just rise in support of this bill. I want to thank the good senator from Arvada, and also as a former mayor pro tem of a small city that worked on a stipend and had a full-time other job and also served on similar committees. This makes the committee more accessible to regular everyday people serving in local government, and I urge a yes vote.
Senator Bridges. Senator Priola.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And just a point of clarification, another member had used the term $75. Current law is $75. This bill moves it to a whopping $100, a $25 increase in the last 25 years. Per meeting, I ask for an aye vote.
Senator Bridges.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I actually agree with some of the criticism in this bill. If someone is already employed full-time as an elected official, full-time, which doesn't include us, and is being paid the kinds of salaries that our county commissioners are being paid, I don't think that they necessarily need to get another couple $100 a year to do what it is that they're already being paid full-time to do. So I have an amendment on the way, and I would like to offer it. I will speak to it now, and then we'll put it through. The amendment says, if you make $100,000 or more already from your elected position, then you do not get this increase. And I ask for your support of that amendment when it gets here. What? I request a senatorial 5.
Senate will stand in the senatorial 5. rock and roll. Senate will come back to order.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Senator Bridges.
After a discussion with some of the more impassioned supporters of this bill, I've decided not to offer my amendment and ask for your aye vote.
Well, oh, okay. Well, Senator Crowder.
Madam Chair, the reason they run into problems is because we don't know how many boards are involved. And we don't know who's all where else, we're talking, this is just one board. So let's say that there's 10 or 12 boards out there, that each one of these commissioners are being paid at another board. This is just the tip of the iceberg that I brought forward. But again, I will be a no vote on this particular bill.
Any further discussion on House Bill 1213? All right, seeing none. The motion before the body is the adoption of House Bill 1213. All those in division has been called. Division has been requested. All those in the chamber not entitled to vote, please be seated. She's right there. Are we good? So the motion before the body is the adoption of House Bill 1213. All those in favor, please stand. All right, please be seated. All those opposed, please stand now. The motion for the adoption of House Bill 1213 is adopted. Let's see, Majority Leader Fenberg.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Having voted on the prevailing side, I move that the committee rise and report.
Orale. The motion before the committee is to rise and report. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes obviously have it, and the committee will rise and report.
Don't forget your phone. I've got your phone. The Senate will come to order. Senator Gonzalez.
Thank you, Madam President. The committee has met and had a bill under a lot of consideration. Will the clerk please read the report?
Madam President, your committee hopefully reports that in consideration of the following text bills being the second reading thereof makes the following recommendations thereon. House Bill 1213 passed on second reading and revised and placing on it for their reading and final passage.
Senator Gonzalez.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for the adoption of said report.
The motion is the adoption of the Committee of the Whole report. Are there any no votes? Senator Lundin, Senator Gardner, Senator Sonnenberg, Senator Woodward, Senator Smallwood, Senator Crowder, Senator Hill, Senator Fenberg.
Hey, hey.
Are there any others that are going to continue to have fun? With a vote of 25 ayes, 8 noes, 0 absent, 2 excused, the Committee of the Whole report is adopted. House Bill 1213 passed on second reading and ordered revised and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. Consideration of governor's appointments consent calendar. Will the clerk please read all the appointments listed on the consent calendar for governor's appointments?
Members of the State Housing Board for terms expiring January 31st, 2023. Anthea Teresa Martin of Denver, Colorado to serve. A Democrat and resident of the 1st Congressional District reappointed. Brian Arnold of Aurora, Colorado, an affiliated member and resident of the 6th Congressional District appointed. Raymond Timothy Hudner of Grand Junction, Colorado, Republican and resident of the 3rd Congressional District reappointed.
Majority Leader Fenberg.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for the confirmation of all the appointments on the consideration of governor's appointments consent calendar, including members of the State Housing Board.
Is there any discussion? The motion is the adoption of all the governor's appointments listed on the consent calendar. Are there any no votes? With 33 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, 2 excused, the appointments on the consent calendar are confirmed. The following people are confirmed. State Housing Board, Anthea Teresa Martin, Brian Arnold, Raymond Timothy Hudner. Delivery to the governor.
To the governor for signature on Thursday, April 4th, 2019 at 10:30 a.m. Senate Bill 148 and 203.
Message from the governor.
Thursday, April 4th, 2019, Colorado Senate. Honorable members of the Colorado Senate, pursuant to the authority vested in the office of the governor of the state of Colorado, I have the honor to inform you that I have approved and filed with the Secretary of State the following Act, Senate Bill 95, 5-year review of higher education funding formula approved Thursday, April 4th, 2019 at 2:53 p.m. Sincerely, Jared Polis, Governor.
Majority Leader Fenberg.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that the Senate take up House Bill 1208, House Bill 1238, Senate Bill 170, House Bill 1206, House Bill 1225 on special orders consent calendar at the hour of 10:13 p.m. Sorry, 10:08 p.m.
The motion is that the Senate take up the bills on the special orders calendar at the order of 10:08. This requires a 2/3 majority. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion is adopted. The Senate will take up the bills on the special orders consent calendar. Majority Leader Fenberg.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that the Senate stand in recess until 10 a.m. while the special orders consent calendar is produced and distributed to the members.
You have heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion is adopted. The Senate will stand in recess until the calendar is printed. Okay, let's get this show on the road. The Senate will come back to order. Majority Leader Fenberg. Oops, sorry. Special orders, second reading of bills, consent calendar, Senator Gonzalez.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the Senate resolve itself into the Committee of the Whole for consideration of special orders, second reading of bills, consent calendar.
You have heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The motion is adopted. The Senate will resolve itself in the Committee of the Whole for consideration of special orders, second reading of bills, consent calendar, and Senator Gonzalez will take the chair. You've got the same thing.
The committee will come to order and the court rule is relaxed. Will the clerk please read the title of all of the bills on the special orders, second reading of bills, consent calendar?
House Bill 1208 by Representative Singer and Landgraf, Senators Fields and Gardner, concerning the designation of physical therapists as healthcare providers for the purpose of ensuring compliance with required head trauma guidelines and organized youth athletic activities. House Bill 1238 by Representatives Gray and Van Winkle and Senators Winter and Priola, concerning the authority of the Division of Housing to regulate factory-built structures. Senate Bill 170 by Senators Rodriguez and Tate and Representative Herrick, concerning an inquiry into a college applicant's non-academic conduct prior to admission. House Bill 1206 by Representative Coleman and Larson, Senators Bridges and Lundin, concerning removing equity gaps in higher education by ensuring more students have access to supplemental academic instruction. House Bill 1225 by Representatives Harrod, Soper, and Senators Lundin and Lee, concerning prohibiting the use of monetary bail for certain levels of offenses except in certain circumstances.
Majority Leader Fenberg.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There has been a request to remove House Bill 1208 from the special order second reading of bills consent calendar.
House Bill 1208 will be removed from the special order second reading of bills consent calendar. Majority Leader Fenberg.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move for the adoption of all the bills on the consent calendar and their associated committee reports, which includes House Bill 1238, Senate Bill 170, along with the Education Committee report, House Bill 1206, and House Bill 1225.
Is there any discussion on any of the committee reports on the consent calendar? Seeing none, the motion before the body is the adoption of all the committee reports on the special order second reading of bills consent calendar. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The committee reports are adopted. Is there any discussion on any of the bills on the consent calendar? Seeing none, the motion before the body is the adoption of all the bills on the special orders second reading of bills consent calendar. Are there any no votes? Seeing none, those bills are adopted. Majority Leader Fenberg.
Madam Chair, I move the committee rise and report.
The motion is for the committee to rise and report. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Sorry, Senator Donovan. The motion is adopted. The committee will rise and report.
Senator will come to order. Senator Gonzalez.
Thank you, Madam President. The committee has had a number of bills under consideration. Will the clerk please read the report? Órale, un momento. Espérenos.
We have a little bit of a technical glitch.
Madam President, your committee hold lead report is that in consideration the following task bills being the second reading thereof makes the following recommendations to on. Senate Bill 170 is amended passing read order and gross place accounted for the reading and final passage. House Bill 1238, House Bill 1206, House Bill 1225 passing read order revised and placed on the counter for the reading and final passage. House Bill 1208 removed from the special order second reading of bills consent calendar placed on the special order second reading of bills calendar for 4519.
Senator Gonzalez.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the report.
The motion is the adoption of the Committee of the Whole report. Are there any no votes? Seeing none, the ayes have it with 33 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, 2 excused. The Committee of the Whole Special Orders is adopted. Senate Bill 170 as amended passed on second reading and ordered engrossed and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. House Bills 1238, 1206, 1225 passed on second reading and ordered revised and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. House Bill 1208 removed from the special order calendars reading of Bill's consent calendar and placed at the end of special order second reading of Bill's consent calendar for April 5th, 2019. Majority Leader Fenberg.
Thank you, Madam President. I move House Bill 1208 lay over until Monday, April 8th, 2019.
All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. House Bill 1208 will lay over until Monday, April 8th. Majority Leader Fenberg.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that the Senate take up governor's appointments consent calendar on special orders. Governor's appointments consent calendar. Sorry. I move that the Senate take up members of the Special Funds Board for Workers' Compensation, Self-Insurers, Workers' Compensation Cost Containment Board, Board of Real Estate Appraisers, Statewide Internet Portal Authority. On special orders, governor's appointments consent calendar at the hour Please hold. At the hour of 10:20 a.m.
Thank you for the entertainment, Mr. Minority Leader. Majority Leader Fenberg.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for the confirmation of all the appointments on the Where are we?
Just don't mess up the cupcakes. That's the most important
I
thing.
got it. Thank you, Madam President. Once again, thank you. I move that the Senate stand in recess until 10:22 a.m. while the special orders, governor's appointments, consent calendar is produced and distributed.
All right, we will take a brief recess so that we can wait for the consent calendar, governor's appointments. Oh, the motion is that the Senate take up the boards and commissions special orders at the hour of 10:20. That requires a 2/3 majority. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, the ayes have it. The motion is adopted. The Senate will take up the boards and commissions special orders, governor's appointments, consent calendar when it's printed or now. We're still waiting for it to be printed. Yeah. So, in a few minutes. The Senate will come back to order. Consideration of special orders, governor's appointments, consent calendar. Will the clerk please read all the appointments listed on the consent calendar?
Member of the Special Funds Board for Workers' Compensation Self-Insurance for term expiring July 1st, 2022. Victoria McCormick, Colorado Springs, Colorado, manager or employee of a self-insured employee is in good standing with knowledge of risk management and finance. Reappointed members of the Workers' Compensation Cost Containment Board for term expiring December 13th, 2021. Carl Joseph Herman of Wellington, Colorado, representing employers who have demonstrated good risk management experience with respect to their workers' compensation insurance. Reappointed member of the Board of Real Estate Appraisers for term expiring July 1st, 2021. Harriet Irene Sanders of Denver, Colorado, to serve as a member of the public. Appointed members of the Statewide Internet Portal Authority for term expiring June 1st, 2020. Honorable Gilbert Ortiz of Pueblo, Colorado, to serve as a representative of local government on occasion of the resignation of Honorable Lou Gator III of Fort Collins, Colorado, appointed for term expiring June 1st, 2021. Mary Kay Hogan of Denver, Colorado, to serve as representative of the private sector, reappointed for term expiring June 1st, 2022. Hannah Parsons of Colorado Springs, Colorado, to serve as a representative of the private sector, appointed.
Majority Leader Fenberg.
Thank you, Madam President. There has been a request to remove a Mary Kay Hogan from, I'm just hearing that that request has been withdrawn. Never mind. Thank you, Madam President. I move for the confirmation of all the appointments on the consideration of special orders, governor's appointments consent calendar, including members of the Special Funds Board for Workers' Compensation Self-Insurers, Workers' Compensation Cost Containment Board, members of the Board of Real Estate Appraisers, and members of the Statewide Internet Portal Authority.
Is there any discussion? The motion is the adoption of all the governor's appointments listed on the consent calendar. Are there any no votes? With 33 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent and 2 excused, the consent calendar governor's appointments to boards and commissions is adopted. The following persons are confirmed. Special Funds Board for Workers' Comp Self-Insurers, Victoria McCollum. Workers' Compensation Cost Containment Board, Carl Joseph Herman. Board of Real Estate Appraisers, Henrietta Irene Sanders. Statewide Internet Portal Authority, Honorable Gilbert Ortiz. Mary Kay Hogan, Hannah Parsons. Will the Senate choir please convene in the well? People, now this is one of the important things we do. If the Senate choir would please convene in the well. Not all of us get to have our birthdays during the session, and we want to wish everyone a happy birthday. So over the last few weeks, we will get to sing happy birthday to a small group of our members with birthdays in the interim. Today we will have everyone from May, June, and July birthdays. So will the following senators please come to the center aisle so the choir can sing happy early birthday to Senator Winter, Senator Sonnenberg, Senator Coram, and Senator Rodriguez. And you will all be fined if you don't come forward. Are we? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Senator. Whoever has an April birthday. Happy birthday to you. Oh, this is me too. Oh. And the most important part, there are cupcakes here at the well. With that, are there announcements? Announcements? Senator Sonnenberg.
Well, thank you, Madam President. More important than any birthdays today is thank you to the Majority Leader for making sure that we get out of here in time so that we can go root our Rockies on their hope opener when it's not 27 degrees out like it was last year. So, hey, go Rockies.
Senator Priola.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And members, I just want us to take pause today and think of how lucky we are in this state, not only to have the Colorado Rockies, but to have a beautiful facility like Coors Field. My son and I like to take baseball trips, and we've been around the country and been to a few venues, and there's some a little older with more history, but Coors Field is definitely a special place. And something you may not realize is actually influenced architecture for a lot of the newer stadiums around the league. So go Rockies.
Senator Gonzalez.
Thank you, Madam President. And as you all partake in the festivities surrounding Open Day, I hope that you enjoy your time in Senate District 34, the coolest district in the state. Go Rockies.
I think that might have been a moment of personal privilege, Senator Gonzalez. Senator Holbert.
Thank you, Madam President. Congratulations also to the Colorado Avalanche, who last night beat the Winnipeg Jets and secured a place in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Go Avs.
Further announcements. Mr. Majority Leader.
Well, Madam President, I think we've done enough damage here today. I move that the Senate adjourn until 10 a.m. Monday, April 8th, 2019.
You have heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. Those no. The motion is adopted. The Senate will adjourn until 10 a.m. Monday, April 8th.